All right, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the video. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video. As you saw from the thumbnail, I'm going to be reviewing these Newtz water shoes. And this is an odd video for me, but it's a super practical video. Probably from about the age of 9 or 10, I like wearing water shoes in the water. I used to go on little beach trips with my dad. I grew up on the East Coast, and he would take me and my brothers to these one-day beach trips. And I remember one time we had these cheap shoes, these cheap water shoes that we wore, and every time we would step up or try to step out of the water, they would just hold a bunch of water, and it would create this like heavy gravity where the shoe would almost come off each time, and did in some cases. And so me and my brothers joke about that. And so in looking forward to the St. Thomas trip that we went on, which we were blessed to go on, I wanted to get some decent water shoes. And it was interesting. I normally go to Academy because they have great prices. But when I went there, I wasn't satisfied with the shoes that I saw. Like, they had one pair for 10, which I didn't want to get the cheapest pair. And then they had another pair for 20, which were still cheap. But they were kind of tight and they had no grip. And I really didn't like the feel of the shoes overall. They looked okay. It's not about looks, but so anyway, it was the night before the trip and I had to do something, so I just ran by Walmart. I was going to go by Walmart and Target, and I found these for $15. And I'll just, jump right into it. I'm not going to make this video super long. I would give these like an 8 out of 10. Now, I don't travel a ton. I don't get in the water a ton. I don't live near the coast anymore, but I would say these are definitely worth picking up. First of all, I'll start with the styling, which wasn't really a big factor for me, but I do like the fact that, they have different colorways. These go good with pretty much anything. You're on vacation, so you really don't have to try that hard. But I do like the style of these shoes because it's a very functional style, and I feel like it's a blend or a balance between shoes and water shoes. So you can buy some high-end water shoes that are super lightweight, super meshy, feel like there's nothing there, but then they're not comfortable when you're walking on land or walking across that parking lot to go to the beach or to that, beach bar or whatever, or run to the grocery store after the beach. You could have a pair of flip-flops, but I didn't want to deal with all that. So I like the fact that these have toe bumpers in the front. And even more than that, like I said, the ones at Academy were tight on my feet. And you want them to be a little tight so they don't come off. But a part of that staying power in water shoes is how they fit, the enclosure and how you can tighten them or ratchet them down, so to speak. And I feel like this enclosure here, I'll just hold one, was decent enough. Some might look at this Velcro and say, oh, it's cheap, it's not going to hold your feet. But these stayed on my feet the whole time. And like I said, part of that has to do with water draining out of the shoe. So these have mesh here, so water drained out pretty good. These aren't the most high performance shoes. Like I said, I wanted a blend of shoes so that I could walk around off the beach a bit and not just be in total discomfort. And I love the width, so it's not squeezing my toes. If I, hit my toe against a rock or something like that, it's not going to hurt it. Same with the heel. And then also, one thing that was important to me is that the bottom had grip. The other shoes, I get, you're in the ocean, you don't really have to worry a ton about grip. But to me, I knew we were going to be at the beach a lot, and we might get out and get some food or something, and I didn't want to be sliding around on a deck or anything like that. So these have great grip. I, again, give these an 8 out of 10. I think the design is great. There's a good blend of coverage for your feet so you don't get sunburned, and there's also mesh so that they drain water. They still hold a little bit of water, but not so much so that they're going to fall off your feet when you're getting in and out of the water. So just going into the performance, like I said, they drain okay. For $15, they're definitely a win. But one of the things that I like is they float. So if you accidentally throw one in the water, lose one in the water, mine didn't halfway come off at any time. but they do float. So you'll be able to find them pretty easily. And so if you have kids who are taking shoes on and off and throwing them around, these will float, so it'll be easier for you to find them. Maybe a little harder in the ocean if they get caught in the current, but still something to consider. And I guess one other thing too is the cushioning on the bottom. The ones at Academy, even the $20 ones, like I said, these were $15, didn't have good cushioning on the bottom. So it felt like I was just walking on straight rock. And I know a lot of times when you're in the ocean, you're not thinking about cushion and grip. But to me, it's important because I took another trip one time with my family, and we were on this rocky beach. And it did not feel good at all. I think it had like limestone on the bottom or something like that. And it was really rough on our feet. So I wanted shoes that would be, you know, good in multiple conditions, even though this cushion adds a little bit of weight. You know, I would say these are a little bit on the heavier side, but, you know, they're not going to give you like leg fatigue or anything like that. And so I really like that. And then also, they're easy to slide into and out of. You just undo this Velcro, and you can slide your foot in and out pretty easily. So, yeah, in summary, these are very, very good shoes. For $15, they're better than the ones for $10 and $20 at Academy. There are some with, you know, the individual toes, but with these being squared, you know, your feet have good space. So you can splay out your toes decently well and still have a shoe that fits tight enough that it won't come off. But the only other thing I'll say is that with them floating, they do slow you down when you try to swim. So if, you know, you're just leisurely going to the beach, that's not a big deal. But I did notice that since they do float when I was paddling, there was a little bit more resistance, but they're still well worth it, and they're comfortable enough to you know, stand around in for a decent length of time. I mean, I wouldn't walk more than a mile in these. I definitely have some slippers or maybe some flip-flops or something that would be more comfortable, but these are definitely worth a purchase at $15. And they had them in, I think, kid sizes, adult sizes, you know, colors for men and women. And so you can't go wrong with these. And then they have a little Newtz thing on the bottom. So that was cool. I only wore these on one trip, so you could say that's limited exposure, but it was a 6-day trip, and we were in the water pretty much every day except for the first day. I didn't wear these in a pool or anything like that. So, yeah, definitely go by your local Walmart and pick these up, and they'll serve you pretty well.